Let's go, let's go, let's go, guys. Welcome back to High Top Baseball. Guys, a little more energy today, recording this Monday morning than there would have been if I recorded it Friday night, right? Absolutely ugly game one. We're going to get into it. Um, Obviously, we had the hindsight here. We got to see games 2, game 3, kind of get the boys back on track. So a little more energy here. If you saw my tweet on Saturday, right, the Natty's back. National championships hopes are back after that stinker Friday night. So good episode for you guys today. We're going to dive in, break down those 3 games from over the weekend, kind of what we did good, what we did bad. We've been projecting lineups for a few weeks now, so we're going to dive into what some of those lineup surprises looks like, right? Maybe some of those early arms out of the pen, some of the rotational pieces in the infield and the outfield, and just kind of the surprises we saw across the lineup. We're going to dive into some advanced metrics, right? We had talked freebies, quality at bats, some stuff like that. I had mentioned last week I was building an app that I kind of got finished here, so we'll be able to look into that a little bit, kind of open up the hood on these 3 games and kind of see what we did well from those advanced metrics. We're going to give away game balls, right? So this year, every win, right? We're not going to be giving away a game ball on a loss. There's no participation trophies here. But when the Gator baseball team wins a game, we're going to give away a game ball, make it kind of the MVP of that game. It's going to be an eye test. It's going to be my eye test. I'm the one giving out the award. No real metrics behind it. So we'll get to give out a game ball for those 2 games on Saturday. We're going to look at the season overall, 3 games in, right? Kind of look at what the stats look like coming out of that opening weekend. And then we're going to dive into Stetson and kind of see what we're looking forward to here on the Tuesday, Wednesday games this week. So a really good episode for you guys today, man. Baseball is officially back. We got real baseball happening, and we're all pumped about it, man. So let's get into it. All right, guys, let's go ahead and dive into game 1, the Friday night game this weekend against UAB. There's no 2 ways around it, right? Absolute stinker. The slow starts have plagued this Gator baseball team over the last couple years, man, and this is a game that the Gators absolutely gave away. And we'll dive into it here in a little bit, but I think what we're going to start with is the lineup, right? So here I'll throw back up the kind of projections that I had for that opening day lineup going into the weekend. We were pretty close, right? I flipped Curlin and Lawson there, so Lawson's hitting second, Curlin's hitting third in that opening day lineup. Kendall was DHing. We got the outfield right. We had Jones, Sear, and Yost across the outfield. Stripling was at first, right? We didn't see any Caden McDonald, so he was out of the lineup. Stripling at first, Kendall DHing. So just those 3 players rotating. But other than that, I mean, we were really close on this projection. So let's go ahead and dive into the game, right? And we'll go ahead and add the box score right here so we can kind of walk through it together. You can see here the 9-7 against a UAB team. We talked about it last week. That was projected to finish in the last place in the American Conference. 5 of their 9 opening day hitters in that lineup were making their D1 debut. So as a coach, man, this is one of those games where you tell your pitchers to throw strikes, you tell your defense to make plays, and you've got the talent and you've got the bats to just go out there and win, right? They're not going to beat you. You're going to beat yourself. And that's exactly what happened on Friday. Not to take anything away from UAB, right? They did what they had to do. I think they stole 5 bases. They executed small ball bunting a lot, right? They just did their job, right? They kind of small balled us to death, knowing that's how they'd have to beat us. But you can see it across the top here, right? We out hit them 10 hits to 6, right? And it's really the freebies, and we'll dive into those advanced metrics here in a second. But the freebies are what killed us. So let's dive into the hitters here and just go through the hitting order. Kyle Jones, 2 for 5. This kid kind of talking as an overall weekend, man, he's just a leadoff hitter. He gets on base, right? That first man on in an inning stat is going to just absolutely light him up. The kid loves to just hit leadoff doubles. I think I saw Nick De La Torre post that he's on pace to hit like 52 leadoff doubles this year, which is pretty awesome. So Kyle Jones, everything we expected, right? We wrote him in Sharpie, center field leadoff. Everything we expected out of the kid this weekend. Really, really nice to see. Brendan Lawson, man, we'll dive into QABs here in the file I put together, but the kid absolutely came out this weekend and hit well, and that started Friday, right, with a little 3 for 4 performance, scored twice. Cade Curlin, 1 for 5, right? All right, not great, right? You still expect a little rust from him. That's okay. And a little note, right, about inter squad. So we'll talk about it during the Saturday games, but I had the privilege of going up to Gainesville on Saturday and kind of sitting with Deacon Lippett and JJ Schwartz, and got to hang out with Buddy Reed a little bit. And what I didn't realize is inter squads in the spring, right? I think Sully has a rule where you have to throw 2 strikes in your first 3 pitches as a pitcher, which is great, right? We want these guys to be filling it up and throwing strikes. But knowing that, right, I think those hot bats that we saw in the spring, you can maybe temper some expectations because these kids know that these pitchers are going to try to throw strikes and they're probably sitting on it. They're trying to jump early. And they know that, hey, if I get in 1-0 count, I know this kid's got to come back and throw 2 strikes to me. So I'm going to jump all over it. So just a cool little tidbit, man, of just little things I've learned, kind of getting to sit with some former players and some guys that have a ton of experience with Sully in this Gator baseball program. So I think some of these guys that maybe got off some hotter springs, maybe a little cooler now, it's all part of it, right? So Cade Curlin 1 for 5, Carson Bowen, and I think he's going to be the surprise for me on the weekend. Hitting 4-hole, right? I think when that lineup came out originally, I was a little surprised to see Bowen in the 4-hole, and take all that surprise away after watching these 3 games this weekend. This kid balled out both behind the plate and at the dish. So really, really good to see the TCU transfer playing so well and establishing himself as not only our starting catcher, but our starting cleanup hitter. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Hayden Yost, 0 for 4. Not the best day for Yosty. And I think that's why we saw some lineup changes going into game 2. So no issues here, right? Opening weekends are tough. Baseball is a sport of failure, right? You succeed 3 out of 10 times. You fail 70% of the time, you're going to be a Hall of Famer. So it's a sport of failure. It's a mental game. You gotta just stay on top of it and just try to stay confident and find your groove. Ethan Surwick, another guy that didn't get off to the hottest start, had some good at bats. 1 for 3 this game. Blake Sear 1 for 5. Just talking the Friday game, right? We'll get into Blake Sear on Saturday. Landon Stripling 1 for 4, and then the freshman Jacob Kendall 0 for 3. The bats, like we said, weren't the problem, right? 10 hits compared to the 6 from UAB. Should have been enough. You just looking at those 2 metrics right there, should have been enough to get the job done. And then you scroll down to pitching, which is what killed us, right? Pitching and defense. So Liam, our horse, our Friday guy, projected probably top 10, 15 pick in the MLB draft this year, just didn't have it. His command was off right away. He's sitting 97, 98 with the fastball, but I'm not sure he threw an off speed for a strike until maybe the 3rd or 4th inning. And when you see that as a hitter, curveballs that are just missing bad, all right, off speeds that are just not anywhere close, it gives you the confidence to go up there. Hey, I don't care if this guy's throwing 97, 98. If I know you can't throw an off speed for a strike, I'm sitting fastball. Right, I'm going to sit fastball. You throw me an off speed, I'm going to let it go. Congrats if you throw it for a strike, whatever. I know you can't do that. He didn't have it on Friday night. And so you saw it, right? He had a clean inning, I think, in maybe the 2nd or 3rd inning, but it might have been all fastballs. I think he maybe pumped all fastballs for an entire inning. And those hitters pick up on that. Right. And so by the 3rd, 4th inning, they knew, hey, this kid's just throwing fastballs and we can sit on him. And that's when they started to hit him around a little bit. And the walks, I mean, 5 walks by Liam, 8 total overall. Just not a very good performance. So not the best day from Liam, right? We're going to need to see that off speed command. We're going to need to see the fastball command. We're going to need to see him kind of get ahead of hitters, right? I think the first pitch strikes was a little low. 5 walks, right? 8 overall across our 4 pitchers. I mean, eight walks is unacceptable when you're talking freebies here compared to the 3 right on the UAB side. So just not a good day on the mound, right? I know Reith came in, and let's not lump Ricky Reith into any of this poor pitching talk. That kid absolutely dominated, right? He went 3 2/3, 1 hit, 2 strikeouts, no earned runs. He absolutely did his job. Really, really good to see Ricky Reith, the transfer, coming in and pitching like he did. Then we saw Sandifer come in, and it looked like he might have gotten hurt. He was stretching his shoulder or something there in the bullpen after he had the medical visit, and then subsequently got pulled. So just not a good day, right? I think we can probably put a lot of that not a good day blame on Liam, right? He did not have a good day, got us behind, didn't get help either, right? So we'll scroll on down here to the fielding, right? And we had a couple walks and an error in the first inning, right? You lose the freebie battle that quickly. You're playing catch up, and you can really feel the energy kind of drain out of the stadium. You can feel it drain out of the bullpen, out of the dugout. And we felt that in the first inning, right? That pop up that Landon Stripling dropped is just an absolute killer when it puts runs on the board for the other team. And you can see here 3 errors, right? Only 1 from our defensive 9, or I guess defensive 8, and then 2 errors coming from the pitchers. So just not a good day, not a good day at all. All right, so let's dive over here into some advanced metrics on game one, right? So this is a little file I've put together. We'll kind of walk through it as the season goes on, try to kind of talk through this every game. But here's game one, the Friday night versus UAB, right? Quality at bats, 512. Not bad. You can see right there on the left, right? Above average is anything over 500. An elite team sit over 60, over 600. So 512 is not bad. And you'll see I think we had 515 on the second game of the Saturday. So 512 can win you ball games. First man on in an inning. This is where it's brutal. 1 for 10. Right. So Kyle Jones got on in the first inning, and then the next 9 innings we did not get the leadoff guy on. Those are just metrics that are not going to win you games. And if you go down here to first man on defense, right? So UAB was 5 for 10. UAB got their leadoff runner on 5 of the 10 innings, and those are just two numbers you can look at and tell yourself, hey, we lost that game. Right? Quality start. Liam didn't do it for us. 3 1/3, 4 earned runs. Not going to get the job done. And then the freebie battle, right? So the freebies is a metric you can often look at by itself, standalone, and know if you won a game or not. We gave up 14 freebies, 8 walks, 2 hit by pitch, 3 errors, 1 wild pitch, 14 freebies. UAB 3 walks, 2 hit by pitch, 2 errors, no wild pitches, no balks, 7 freebies. So we doubled up their freebies on Friday night, and that's the story of it, right? We beat ourselves. And you can see that when you look at the Saturday games, right? If we play our baseball, we're going to beat this team 10 times out of 10. We went out there, we beat ourselves Friday night. If I was recording this Saturday morning, maybe we'd talk about it a little longer. The boys righted the ship, right? We got back on track. Saturday looked awesome. So we're gonna sweep it under the rug, right? Game one, long season. We're not gonna sit here and harp on it. We're gonna jump over to the Saturday games and talk some very good positives here. This baseball team's talented, man, and you can see it. And I think a lot of people were saying, right, the last time Florida lost their opening game was 2 years ago, right? We started 0-1 against, I believe, a St. John's team, and that Gator team ended in Omaha. Right? I think we were a top 4 team at the end of it. So long season. These games honestly mean nothing as long as you learn from them. So enough of the Friday game. Let's jump over to Saturday now. All righty, so let's jump over to Saturday. Saturday was a cool one for me, man. Once we heard that Sunday game was getting moved because of the weather, I'm about 2.5 hours away from Gainesville. It's not the easiest drive for me, especially with 3 young kids and a wife. And but my wife heard doubleheader Saturday. She knows that that's kind of makes it worth the drive. And even being Valentine's Day, man, she said go get it. So shout out her, man. She's the absolute best. But I got to spend all day Saturday in Gainesville. And younger David Wright was going nuts because I got to spend it with 2 national champions. And I think I've told you guys a little bit. I've been gotten really close with Deacon recently. We met through a mutual friend, been doing some Bible studies and stuff together, and just being big baseball guys from the same hometown, big Gators. Just really connected with him. So I got to spend all Saturday with Deacon, and then also got to meet JJ and sit through 2 games with him, and just seeing the love that these guys get in Gainesville from the fans. And right, when you bring a trophy home, a championship home to Gainesville, man, you're royalty in that city forever. And so to see the love that these guys were getting, they got put on the Jumbotron in the first game, and it was just awesome to kind of sit there and pick their brain, hear about Sully, hear about the program. They were constantly sharing memories, right? Buddy Reed came up, sat with us a little bit in the second game, and after he threw out the first pitch, and they were all just kind of sharing stories, man. It was super cool to kind of be there with them, but just absolute Gainesville legends, man. So Saturday was much better, right? Saturday was a fun one. Let's go ahead and dive into game one on Saturday. All right, so you can see night and day difference here, man. 11-0 run rule. I don't even think we were in our seats by the time Cade Curlin hit that home run in the first inning. You sit down, next thing you know, it's 9-0. I mean, the bats. You could tell the guys were pissed, man. You could tell they were not happy with how that Friday night game went. Rightfully so. I think the fans were as well. So just really, really exciting stuff to see them kind of get right. 16 hits to UAB's 3. No errors. Just really clean baseball. Kyle Jones 3 for 4. A couple more doubles, right? Lawson 0 for 2, but had a walk and a hit by pitch. Cade Curlin gets back on track, 4 ribbies in that game. Carson Bowen 3 for 4 with 2 ribbies. I mean, that kid's just absolutely hitting. And his 2-strike approach, man, I think that's what I've been most impressed with. He's got a great 2-strike approach. Loved watching him behind the plate. I mean, he had some really nice dirt balls that he blocked up. Really good to see Bowen playing well like that. Surowick 1 for 4. Kendall 0 for 4. We'll talk a little bit about Jacob Kendall, right? He's the freshman, red hot spring. And if you're just looking at the box score, right, Jacob Kendall went 0 for 7 with a walk, I think, this weekend. We're going to dive into the QABs because don't let that 0 for 7 fool you, man. Jacob Kendall, I think, was 5 for 7, maybe 4 for 7 on QABs this weekend. So everything you'd want out of the kid, just outcomes weren't there for him. So be a little patient with that there. Blake Sear, 3 for 4. I mean, the kid came out and hit 2 bombs. That one he hit down the left field line, the second it hit the bat, I think it was already out there on the street. So that he absolutely was raking everything we expected to see from him last year. I think he hit 9 home runs last year. He's going to blow the lid off of that. He's going to be everything we wanted when he transferred in last year. So really good to see him playing so well in left field, and then the bat just starting out hot this spring. Cash Strayer, man, the freshman. We'll dive into that when we kind of go through the stats of these 3 games, but the freshman played well. And Cash, man, 3 for 4, 4 total bases. He hit really well. And then Colt Myers, we saw Colt come in, and we talked a little bit about him last week being a big glove, a big defensive piece on this team for when we might not see plays going well, right? And so you saw Colt come in and play third. It moved Surwick over to first. You could argue maybe that's the Stripling drop, right? The pop-up in the first inning. Now, Stripling did have a pretty nice dig in the Friday game, so I want to give him his flowers there. Right? I think Brendan Lawson had thrown one in the dirt, and he dug it out. So really good there. But that pop-up in the first inning, man, it's going to linger. Surwick gets moved to first. You see Colt Myers come into third. So these defensive games, right, the defense is going to be better. The bat's going to be where you question when you don't see a McDonald, you don't see a Stripling in the lineup. Colt Myers, 1 for 4. He had a good day, was hitting the ball well. A couple warning track shots, kind of just missing barrels. So really good stuff out of the bats on the first game on Saturday. And let's go over to pitching. Man, Aiden King gets a quality start, right? One of those metrics we're going to be tracking. 6 innings, no earned runs, 3 hits, 4 strikeouts, no walks, right? Between him and Sanford, 0 walks on the day. After having an 8 on a Friday, man, that's exactly how you want this pitching staff to kind of turn it around. Sanford looked great. Man, 1 inning pitched, no hits, no earned runs, 2 strikeouts. He looked solid, and that's another kid kind of like a Rittenauer coming off injury from last year. And Sanford, I think, has earned himself some quick looks out of the pen, man. He looked awesome that day. And then fielding, right? So you scroll down here, no errors, no walks, no errors, everything you want to see out of a baseball game. Let's dive over into the advanced metrics real quick. All right, advanced metrics for game 2, 657 QABs. Again, anything over 60, 600's elite, right? And when you see an 11-0 ball game, you expect to see some elite QAB numbers. Awesome stuff. Bats were hot. I don't think we're going to worry about the bats this year, just based on these first 3 games. I'm sure we'll have some cold stretches, but I don't think this team leans as heavily on home run hitters as it might have in the past. I think we're 1 through 9 pretty solid hitters. So it's going to be, don't beat yourself, right? Don't allow walks, don't make errors. So good stuff there. First man on offense, 2 for 6. I think your goal's around 400, right? If you get 300, that's probably a pretty good day. You can win ball games doing that, as long as your opponent didn't have a crazy good day. So 2 for 6, 333, perfect. That's fine. Quality start, first quality start of the year. Aiden King, 6 innings pitched, no earned runs, awesome stuff. He's going to get our game ball, right? First game Saturday, Aiden King, man, way to come out, great performance. Not easy on a freshman after the season he had last year. The all SEC freshman, all American, right? All the accolades, all the kind of pressure, even, right? Everyone's expecting him to take that next step, and he just comes out and absolutely shoves. So game ball, Aiden King, man, congrats, awesome performance, love to see it. First man on defense, right? So UAB got the first man on 0 out of 7 times. That's winning baseball. That's all it is. It's winning baseball. And what else is winning baseball? That freebie battle right there. 0 freebies out of the Florida Gators first game on Saturday. No walks, no hit by pitch, no errors. UAB, 4 freebies, 1 walk, 1 hit by pitch, 1 error, 1 wild pitch. So there you go. We're 2 games in. If you win the freebie battle, you win the game. If you lose the freebie battle, you lose the game. It tracks already so far to start. These advanced metrics are very telling on a win or a lose ball game. All righty, so let's jump over to game number 3, the Saturday afternoon game. So as someone who drove up to Gainesville that day to see like an hour and 45-minute game 1, original start time on game 2 was 6 p.m. I think it started at like 4:30. I was home back in Orlando by like 9:15. Man, that's everything you want these two baseball games to look like as a Gator fan who also drove up to the town for the day. So let's go ahead and jump in here into the box score. All right, so game number 3, second game of the doubleheader on Saturday. Right, Gators win 6-1. This one went 9. The Gators putting up 3 in the first. Wasn't sure if we were going to have another repeat of that first leg of the doubleheader. But the bats kind of cooled off as expected, right, in a doubleheader. You got a lot of new guys coming in. There was a good rotation on the lineup and on the defensive side. And the fun one here, right, was kind of getting to sit with JJ while his little brother made his debut. That was super cool to see. And the kid played well, right? 2 for 3 on QABs, 1 for 3 with a 2-out RBI at the plate. Really good to see there from Colton. But let's dive through this box score hitting lineup. Kyle Jones, 2 for 4, 2 doubles, 4 total bases. I mean, this kid's hot. I just love watching this kid swing, man. He's not scared to take a ball backside. He's finding gaps. Leadoff hitters getting on doubles with these guys behind him. This kid's going to get to score a lot if he's hitting like this. So just really love to see Kyle Jones hitting this well. The kid's an absolute stud. So Brendan Lawson, 1 for 3, 4 total bases, 2 ribbies, right? He's definitely our leader right now. We'll dive into QABs, but he's our leader in the clubhouse on quality at bats so far from the weekend. So the best bat in the Gator lineup, playing like it so far through the first 3 games. Cade Curlin, 0 for 4. Again, he's still a week and a half out of live pitching, right? So if you expect some rust, kid's going to figure it out. Don't move him around. He's still your starting second baseman. He's still probably your 3-hole. Don't panic there. 1 for 3, Ethan Surwick, right? Scored twice, 2 total bases. His bat, I think, came alive a little better Saturday. He's one I think is going to even take a step further going into these weekday games or into the next weekend series. His bat's stronger than I think what we saw in the opening weekend. So good weekend from Ethan. Expect more out of him. Cash Strayer, probably the MVP of the weekend from the freshman side. 2 for 4, 6 total bases, right? 1 ribby, 1 run scored. Kid absolutely played amazing. Blake Sear, 0 for 2 on this one after that game 1 hot start. Cooled off a little bit. 1 walk, though, so he's getting on base. Cole Stanford, 1 for 3. So Cole gets the nod right behind Bowen. When he gets relieved behind the plate, Stanford's first one out of the dugout to play catcher number 2. So that's good to see there. Kind of some of those questions we were talking about fall going into spring. Who's going to be the catcher? Who's going to be the backup catcher? So Stanford gets the first nod there. Colton Schwartz gets the DH, right? Good at bats, 2 for 3, like I said, on QABs. Good 2-out RBI. Really good piece of hitting there from the little legacy. So really good to see. Then Colt Myers gets another start, right? Another start at third base. He was making some really nice plays over there. 1 for 3 at the plate, 1 total base. So if he can hit, his glove's too hard to keep off the field, right? It's the question there is going to be, and it's going to be related to Brendan Lawson as well. Can Brendan Lawson's glove keep him at shortstop? And can Colt Myers' bat keep him in the lineup and keep him at third, right? These are kind of things we're going to see throughout the season. If Colt gets cold, maybe he'll move some things around. But right now, right, 9 hits for the Gators, 5 compared to UAB. Scrolling down to pitching. So the Hawaii transfer, we all saw it last week. Cooper Walls gets the Sunday start, ends up being a Saturday afternoon. He goes 5 1/3, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. Really good stuff. I think this game right here might be why we move quality starts down to 5 innings. 6 innings might be a little outdated, right? These pitchers just aren't going that far anymore. I think Cooper Walls deserved a quality start here. So 5 1/3, like I said, 1 earned run, awesome stuff. Ernesto Lugo Canchola, man, he comes out, gives us 2 2/3 innings pitched, 2 strikeouts. I think he retired like 8 or 9 guys in a row. We were up in the diamond deck, kind of sitting right behind home plate when Ernesto was pitching, and the movement on this kid's pitches, man. I mean, the velo wasn't super different between fastball, right, slider, maybe a cutter or something two-seam he was throwing, but the ball was moving. And I really love to see the bend on that thing. And you could tell it was really giving hitters fits. And the first lefty, like we had predicted out of the pen, man, it's going to be important for this Gator pitching staff to find a lefty that we can pitch, we can implement in tough situations. And Ernesto got it done. Man, Ernesto absolutely got it done today on Saturday evening. Then Josh Rittenauer comes in, right? Throws 1 inning. He's 98, 99. You could tell the whole crowd's on the edge of their feet trying to see if we get that triple digits. That kid throws cheese, man. It's fun to watch. These UAB, he gave those UAB kids trouble, man. One hit, one strikeout came in, shut the door for us. So scrolling down to fielding, I believe we had one error that day. Brendan Lawson made an error. So you could tell really cleaned it up, right? One walk and one error across a doubleheader on Saturday compared to 14 freebies on the Friday night game. So definitely some get right games, right? If we would have recorded this Friday night, we would have been yelling and screaming. I think we're going to just go ahead and temper expectations, right? It's a game one, a little bit of nerves. Maybe you got some new guys, you got some transfers, you got some rust. It's the first time you're playing someone else that isn't in your jersey. It isn't a teammate of yours. So whatever, right? Obviously, we want to play better than we did Friday night. I think Sully's going to get in there Monday at practice, and he's going to give them hell for it. But really good to see them kind of right the ship and play much better ball on Saturday. Then we're going to scroll back at the top, right? I think this Saturday afternoon game ball is going to go to Cash Strayer. Man, kid was hitting well. He was hitting some backside balls off the fence. Really good to see the freshman. If he keeps hitting like that, you're impossible to keep him out of the lineup. You're probably going to see a Strayer, Kyle Jones, Blake Sear outfield moving forward just until one of those three hitters proves that they're not going to be able to get the job done. So really good stuff by Cash Strayer, man. Congratulations. MVP of game number 2 on Saturday, game number 3 overall. So let's dive over into some of the advanced metrics from game 3. You can see here, QABs 515. Like I said, Friday night was 512, right? So that's a number that can get the job done if some of these other metrics kind of fall in line. First man on offense, 2 of 8, 250. Not the best, not horrible. Just a lot of, I think, stretched innings, right? We got people on with 1 or 2 outs. We were scoring runs. So we manufactured runs in other ways, but first man on offense definitely needs to be a little better than it was Saturday afternoon. Quality start here. No 5 1/3, 1 earned run. I'm really close to moving this to 5 innings so Cooper can get his quality start here, but we're going to leave it as is for now. First man on for UAB, 2 for 9. Right, so we won that battle there. Great to see. And then freebies, 2, right? So Florida had a walk and an error. UAB had 2 walks, a hit by pitch, and an error. So once again, right, we win the freebie battle, we win the game. Metrics hold true there. So really good stuff to see out of that second game on Saturday. All right, so let's dive over into some of the season stats, right? And like I had talked about, I was kind of building out the metrics like we had just talked during the individual games. But we're also going to dive in a little bit to QABs. And I'm going to pull up my screen here real quick for you, and we're going to dive into see if I can get this to zoom in a little for you. So you can see this kind of broken out by game. So game 1 there in the column B, these are quality at bats. So remember, that's 6+ pitches. If you see it like a full count, basically, if you can get to 6+ pitches in an at bat, that's a QAB. If you can get on base, if you sacrifice, sack fly, sack bunt, a productive at bat, right? Getting someone over, getting a hit, obviously, scoring an RBI. A lot of ways to get a QAB like we had talked about. And these are the numbers that I follow, right? You can go 0 for 3 at the plate and hit 3 hard line drives at the shortstop. I don't think that's 0 for 3, right? This is when we're talking statistics here, we're talking overall, right? I want to be able to analyze a hitter and if he's close to breaking out or if he's really struggling, right? And I don't think 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts should equal the same weight as 0 for 3 with 3 lineouts to the shortstop. So we're going to track quality at bats, and you can kind of dive in through here, right? So game 1, Brendan Lawson, 4 for 5, right? Carson Bowen, 4 for 5. Jacob Kindle, like we talked about, right? I think he was 0 for 3 with a walk maybe Friday night, 0 for 7 with a walk across the 2 games that he played. He's 3 for 4, right? 75% QAB is elite. That's awesome stuff. So I'm not worried about Jacob Kindle there. I'll get another one, right? We had said maybe expect a little more out of Surwick, 3 for 5 at the plate. And then go down there at the bottom, right? Yost, that 1 for 5, just not very competitive at bats. I think that's why you saw him kind of get the yank there going into the Saturday games. No big worries there, right? I hope to see Yosty back. He's a great ball player. So jumping over to game 2, quality at bats here. You can see Surwick's 1 for 4, Colt Myers 2 for 4. Again, Jacob Kindle 2 for 4, right? 500 solid. Kyle Jones and up all the way to Cade Curlin are 75%. I mean, that 11-0 game Saturday morning, you expect to see quality at bat numbers like this. So the guys were hitting the ball, seeing the ball well. Even when they were getting out, they were putting good at bats on it. And then the final one, Saturday afternoon, Surwick 3 for 4, right? So that's kind of why I'm saying you expect more out of this kid. He's putting good at bats on it. Right, they're working counts, they're hitting the ball hard, they're doing their job, and they're just unfortunately not getting hits in the box score. But not worried there. 2 for 3. Colton Schwartz gets the DH, the freshman. Blake Sear 2 for 4. Brennan Lawson 2 for 4. Cash Strayer 2 for 4. Man, it's really good stuff, right? Like we said, you want to be over 500, over 600's elite. So good to see kind of the top of our lineup are really, really good hitters at the plate. Maybe not showing up in the box score yet, but at least putting good at bats on it. We're going to jump over the dashboard. So it's going to be season total. We're 62 for 111 at a 56% clip, which is great. Right there where you want to be to win ball games. Brendan Lawson's 69%, 9 for 13. Bowen, Curlin, Surwick, Kyle Jones. I mean, these are all your guys that you need to hit well. This year to be a good ball team. So whether or not they're showing up in the box score, right, these QABs are showing up. We're putting good at bats on these. All right, so let's jump over to Stetson, right? So we're gonna be at Stetson and DeLand on Tuesday, and then both teams travel back to Gainesville, and they'll be at Condren playing on Wednesday as well. So we get Stetson back-to-back weekday games this year, and coming up this Tuesday and Wednesday. Going to be a fun one for us, right? I think we like to play some of these local Florida teams. You'll always, and I had talked about it a couple weeks ago with the season intro, you'll see some kids that maybe perform pretty solid against us at these Stetsons and at these JUs, right? And it's how you see a Kyle Jones kind of get transferred over into Gainesville. You see a Jaden Bastian from JU, right? You see some of these kids that maybe are playing really well against us, and Sully maybe gives them a call in the offseason. So Kyle Jones going to have fun going back home to Stetson. Really cool to see there. This Stetson team, right, they're entering 2026 with some pretty good momentum. Back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances the last 2 years. Last year, they won the ASUN conference, got a regional bid out of it. Definitely one of they're saying more fun offenses out of that conference and out of that tier of baseball last year. They got some good returning pieces, right? A Gorelick, a right-hand pitcher. They got an infielder, Juan De La Cruz, some upperclassmen, right? Landon Russell, catcher Salvia Averes, right? I think this team didn't lose a ton. You're expecting them to kind of be a good baseball team this year. And projections show that, right? The way the ASUN works is they break it out into 2 divisions. I believe it's the graphite and the gold divisions. And Stetson's picked to finish first in that graphite division of the ASUN. So they're expected to be one of the top teams in that ASUN conference. Like you saw with UAB, right? They were projected to be one of the last place teams in that American conference. So you can't take anyone lightly. It's baseball, man. Any given day, right? You don't show up with your stuff, and these are D1 baseball players that are going to take it to you. So you got to come ready. I think that Friday game, that game 1 that the Gators went through, I don't think they're going to take anyone lightly the rest of the season because of that. We don't want to go through that again. But this Stetson team, right, pretty solid. I think they're going to be a good team this year. But then you look at how their season started, right? So they played this weekend. There looked like there was a bit of a tournament or something going on in DeLand, right? So you had Ball State versus St. John. So they're tracking all of that in DeLand. But Stetson started 0-3, right? They dropped the first game to Minnesota 5-11. They dropped the second game to Ball State 2-5, and then they dropped the third to St. John 7-11, right? So they definitely threw their best 3 guys these games. There's no doubt about that. The pitching clearly didn't show up, right? You gave up 16 to 27 runs across 3 games. This Gator bat should be kind of chomping at the bit, right? We should be drooling looking at that. With the way we've been putting at bats on, quality at bats, I think we should be able to run up the score on them a little bit. I'm curious to see who our pitcher is going to be, right? We didn't see Luke McNeely at all this weekend. I think that should be a telltale sign that they want to keep him kind of ready for that Sunday position potentially, right? Cooper Walls pitched well enough. I don't think he's going to lose that Sunday slot, but that doesn't mean you want to drop McNeely back to just throwing 1 or 2 innings out of the pen. So I really like, I know some people are kind of saying, bring Luke in. I like how they kind of played this, right? Let Luke start these weekday games. Let him go 5-6. Let him keep that arm fresh to be a starter. That way, if Walls does struggle, or if we ever need that Sunday slot to open back up, McNeely's ready to go because he's been getting starter reps. So I'd expect Luke to go one of these 2 games. I'd expect Billy Barlow to go one of these 2 games. Yeah, I think the pitching, right? We're going to see some of the younger guys. You'll probably see a B. Miller, a Rivers Curland. You'll see some of these other younger guys that are just going to get some good looks on weekday games. I think we saw pretty much, right? We didn't see Caden McDonald. I think we saw pretty much all of your conference bullpen arms that you'd expect once the big games start, right? Obviously, outside of Luke, you're going to see Luke in big important spots once they figure out what his role is going to be. But really good stuff. I mean, I think the bullpen, was taking notes on Saturday, right? I was impressed by the bullpen. I think the bullpen looked great. Bats came alive. The freshmen played well. And then Lawson's glove, I was impressed with Lawson's glove. And we've kind of kept saying it, but if you're going to try to pinpoint one spot on how this team can reach their ceiling, this Gator team can reach their ceiling, I absolutely think it's going to be Brennan Lawson's glove, right? Brennan Lawson can play defensive shortstop well enough to where we don't have to move him. His bat's going to be elite. He's going to be one of the best players in college baseball. And by putting him at short, right, it allows us to put a Surwick at third, keep Curlin at second. It allows us to kind of play around with first base, right? Keeping that first base open allows us to put the best hitter at the time. Let go. Stripling's hot, put him at first. Caden McDonald's playing well, play him at first. Colt Myers is hitting well, put him at third, put Surwick at first, right? So I think Brendan Lawson's glove is going to give us the freedom to kind of make all those moves and kind of have some fun with this lineup. So really good start to see there. Just really awesome stuff, I think, out of the Saturday games. Obviously, Friday, you're going to learn from it. But as a baseball coach, right, you kind of want games like that, right? You got some fire under these guys. You're not going to let them take teams for granted, right? You're not going to let them go out there and not throw strikes, right? If you're going to go out and walk a couple guys, you're done. Your day's over. We're going to get someone in there that can throw strikes. We're going to get someone in there that can make plays. This defensive team is too elite and too deep to allow guys to stay out there that are making errors. So a lot of pressure, I think, from those guys in the starting roles, right? You have pressure to execute and to perform, because we absolutely have ready guys right there behind you who are looking for some action or looking to take your spot. So exciting stuff, right? Florida Gators start 2-1. Got 2 weekday games this week that we're going to get to dive into. So we'll do another video probably Thursday this week. We'll break down the 2 Stetson games from Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll look at stats. We'll look at all these advanced metrics again. We'll talk about the weekend series coming up with Kennesaw State, what to expect there. Just really exciting stuff, man. Gator baseball is back. Thursday we'll dive into the home run prediction a little deeper. I know I got a bunch of predictions and guesses over there on the Google Drive, so I'll get those into a readable format, and we'll start kind of projecting out who's looking to lead. Right now it's Blake Sear with 2. Lawson, Curland, and Strayer each have 1. That ball Lawson hit on Saturday, I mean, what an absolute mammo. That was really good to see. So Blake Sear leading the way with 2 right now. We'll get a little projection out based on just rest of the regular season games, how many he's on track for and stuff like that, so we can start comparing that over with the prediction contest. So exciting stuff there, man. Hey guys, I'm super appreciative of all the support I've been getting on this page, man. It's been so cool to see the comments, the messages. I mean, I even ran into a guy in the concourse at Conjuring on Saturday evening as I was walking out, and just super positive comments, guys. I really appreciate it. I have fun doing this. I obviously wouldn't do it if there wasn't other people on the other side of the screen watching it and enjoying it as well. So I just love to hear from you guys. I love to interact with these baseball fans. Baseball is my favorite time of the year, my favorite season of the year. And nobody does it like the orange and blue. So just really appreciate all the support and positive feedback I've been getting from you guys. Let me know what you guys think so far about this season. What are you worried about, right? I think we've talked a little bit about some areas, but what are you most worried about? What are you most excited about, right? What was that? Those 3 games we saw over the weekend. What do you think is going to be the biggest piece moving forward that this Gator baseball team is going to need to lean on? So really exciting stuff, guys. Make sure you subscribe down to High Top Baseball. Make sure you're liking, commenting. Make sure you're subscribed over to the main High Top Sports channel. As always, guys, we'll see you soon. God bless and go Gators.